Before I begin, Charlie, might I say it's an honor to meet you. After like hearing about you for maybe like 5 years growing up, and like hearing all the negativity about you, I'm like, it's an honor to be here to get to meet you because just I've always been a believer in like listening to what other people have to say. Um, um, and I just want to ask you a question: do you like the new name for the body of water that was formerly called the Gulf of Mexico? Oh,
The Gulf of America.
all right. All right. Do you also agree with the renaming of the mountain in Alaska that is known as either Mount McKinley or Denali? Do you agree of Donald Trump's renaming of, or I should say President Trump's renaming of that to back to Mount McKinley?
I'm generally sympathetic. I can see where you're probably going with this line of questioning, and we'll see how astute you are.
No, I'm just curious to see what your opinion is.
No, that's fine. There's
it's
a
a name, any-
no, it's okay. There's a third question
it.
you could ask that would be pretty smart, but go ahead.
It's a name. A name's a name. I'm planning on becoming a teacher, so
No, it's fine. Maybe you're not going there. That's fine.
yeah. If it says Gulf of America, I'll play Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico, just
Yep.
the Gulf, whatever it is. It's a name's a name. I'm sure you here in Oklahoma probably still call what is now today Hurricane Harbor. I'm sure some of y'all still call it Whitewater Bay. So, a name's a name. I was just curious about that. Your opinion on that. It's a pleasure to meet you, Charlie, and
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
glad that I could come out to meet you.
Thank you. Let me just say one thing. A name is a name, but name should reflect meaning. And so if a name fails to reflect meaning, then that name should be either reconsidered or brought back to the root. Many of our ancestors, their last name would actually be either their profession or the tribe that they were part of. For example,
Yes,
Abraham.
That's my last name. My last name translates to free person in Czech.
Oh, well, very good. So Abraham means father of nations. Moses, for example, means out of the water or redeemer. Jacob means by the heel because he was born literally by the heel or usurper. Isaac means laugh because Sarah laughed at the idea of having him. So names actually used to really mean something, and I love this idea of bringing naming back to meaning. It's not just semantics. Semantics literally means meaning in its original Greek. Thank you very much.
I appreciate
Thoughtful
it, Charlie.
question.
Congrats,
Thank you.
Wyatt.
Hi, Charlie. Is it okay if I record this for myself? Okay.
Of course you can, yeah.
So, my name is Jacob Norwood. I'm a junior in high school, and I have a lot of friends who are born from illegal immigrants. And I was wondering if you agreed with the abolishment of the 14th Amendment, which allows birthright citizenship.
Yes, I do. I don't think it's going to hold up, but I do believe that the 14th Amendment was not intended for anchor babies, correct?
Well, I thought it was intended because people who would be brought over here during slavery, and then their children would then have birthright citizenship, and that was kind of the point.
Slaves were granted citizenship, though.
They were granted citizenship after they were brought here forcibly, and then
Yeah, but then the kids of citizens are kids, though.
are
citizens.
What is the difference in immigrants 100 years ago coming here and having children here to immigrants coming here illegally now?
Well, slaves are a completely different moral category than someone who breaks into your country, right?
Okay, what about Chinese immigrants 100 years ago coming here illegally
I think
and
it should have
then?
been wrong then, and it's wrong now, for sure, both.
But then why would people
It's
agree
been
with
tried.
it?
I mean, we've tried to get rid of this for quite
Why
some time.
agree with it then, though? Like, what's changed?
What do you mean, why agree with it? What do you mean
What's
by that?
changed now?
Well, we're revisiting the actual text of the 14th Amendment. I mean, and nothing's necessarily changed except we think the interpretation has been wrong because it says all persons. It's not clear whether or not that means children of U.S. citizens or if it means a foreigner that just gets on a plane who's pregnant and their kid magically gets a U.S. birth certificate. We are one of the only countries in the industrialized world that has birthright citizenship, one of the few. And so, for example, there are tens of thousands of babies born every single year in America of women from China or from Vietnam that get pregnant in Vietnam and China. At about 7 months, they get on a plane, they land and have their baby in America, and that baby gets a U.S. citizenship. I think that's insane. I think it's crazy that you can get on a plane, be pregnant from another country and be a citizen from another country, come here, and then your kid all of a sudden becomes a U.S. citizen. It first of all, cuts in line and it dilutes the meaning of U.S. citizenship.
I still don't agree with you, but I know there's not a way I can change your mind.
It's all good. Thank you.
I did actually. I have one more question my dad wanted me to ask you. He said, would you still be a white supremacist if you were in a more diverse work field?
So do you think I'm a white supremacist?
I have no idea if you're a white supremacist. My dad has watched a lot of you. He said if you weren't out here preaching hate and working on your 3-pointers, do you think you would probably be better at that?
I'm not even going to justify. You should be ashamed of your father.
I'm definitely not. My father's an amazing man.
Yeah,
He cares about American citizens.
Your father
and all
peddles
of their rights.
lies. I'm not a white supremacist. Honestly, shame on him. For someone that runs an organization called Blexit, do you even know what Blexit is?
I do not.
It's literally, we employ 40 black Americans that work in Atlanta, Chicago, and Philadelphia trying to improve the well-being of inner-city black America. What has your father ever done for inner-city black America other than call me a white supremacist? And by the way, secondly, it's just so ridiculous. It's like it's
black
somehow
people for your companies or whatever you do does not make you a white supremacist.
What is a white supremacist?
A white supremacist is somebody who takes advantage and believes that they are higher than everybody else.
Do I believe that?
I have no idea.
Okay, exactly. And so there's no evidence whatsoever, and yet people go around sloppily saying, you're a racist, you're a white supremacist. It is so destructive to our dialogue. It's destructive to us coming together as a country, and there's nothing to support it whatsoever. So thank you for your time, and shame on your father for peddling that crap.
Okay. Well, first off, I just want to say thank you so much for coming to our city today. It means a lot from, I know, a lot of my peers, but also me as well. I kind of don't have a question for you, more of words of advice. As someone who's fixing to graduate college, I've been studying political journalism. It's been, ever since I was a little girl, that's been my main goal, is to become a political journalism. I just scored an internship, actually, to start off with, shadowing political journalists and everything. And I was super excited for it. I thought it was going to be my start to my journey of success. When I have come to find out majority of my peers and mentors or people I even looked up to in the office that I work at in the news station, they have told me since I am a Christian young woman that I probably won't succeed. And as someone who I've spent my whole life researching, dedicating my life to studying this, it's been very hard for me to continue to want to go into this field when I keep getting put down by the people that I look up to. So I kind of just wanted to ask you, like, I know you see so much and you read so much about yourself. Like, what keeps you to keep going and gave you that motivation to keep speaking your truth with your morals?
Yeah, it's a great question. First of all, you will succeed in journalism if you just outwork the other people. Secondly, there's a lot of these journalists, they're not going to have jobs in 5 to 10 years. I mean, media is changing in real time. My advice to you is, first and foremost, there's a ton of communication directors' jobs for senators and congressmen. Mm-hmm. There's local news stations and more conservative ownership. You'll figure that out.
Yeah.
You have to silence and mute the noise and know what you are good at and follow your skill regardless what people are saying, and then say yes to every single opportunity. If you outwork everybody as an intern, that will be noticed. That will then be rewarded regardless of your political affiliation. And honestly, all that opposition should only make you want to fight harder, will make you stronger, and will make you a better person in your career in the future. So God bless you.
Thank you so much, Charlie.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I am a student at the University of Central Oklahoma. I have a liberal family, and it's not always easy, but I was going to ask you about immigration. So I know that we don't have an obligation to help Mexico, but is there incentives to help Mexico to make America better? And if so, what policies that we can support that would help that?
Yeah, that's a good question. The first way that we could help Mexico is probably the most controversial, which is to eliminate the drug cartels. And that is very controversial because that would take military action. And President Trump has played around with this idea. I have no idea what he's going to do. Mexico is basically controlled by 9 families. And most importantly, the Sinaloa drug cartel, which you guys might think that that's a foreign, distant problem. Almost everybody in this audience has probably lost a friend to fentanyl or somebody that deals with hard drug use. Almost all of that is produced by the Sinaloa drug cartel and is trafficked right up into communities in Oklahoma all across the state. So the best way we could help Mexico is not through giving them money or just cash. We've given them hundreds of billions of dollars over the last 30 years. The best thing I think we could do is targeted military strikes against the Sinaloa drug cartel and liberate them from their current captivity. Secondly, though, they're actively hurting our country. And that's the first question we got from the guy is, what do you mean you're being invaded? We are in an active, hostile, combatant conflict. with the Sinaloa drug cartel? What do you call it when 100,000 of your own people die of drug overdosing of foreign-made drugs that are being purposefully pumped into your communities? That's a poisoning of the country. And yes, everyone has agency and they make decisions, but they make it, first and foremost, a lot of people overdose now on drugs thinking they're taking a much lower level recreational drug that is laced with fentanyl. Now, you shouldn't do any drugs, guys, obviously, but unfortunately, we are seeing the intentional destruction, especially of working age young men in this country. The drug epidemic disproportionately is taking out young men in this country. And so that's what I think we should do to try to help Mexico.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm totally against guns. But I understand the reason why some people need guns. And we can both agree that the wrong people get guns in their hands. But in some states, you don't need a background check for some guns. My question is, what law do you think should be passed to prevent the wrong people from getting guns?
It's a good question. Let me ask you where you're coming from. Do you believe owning a gun is a right or a privilege?
I think it's a privilege.
Okay, so I think it's a right, and that's okay. Let me tell you why. I believe the right for a free people to be able to defend their family from foes, be able to defend their family from government potentially coming after them, is a right given to them by our Creator. It's not given by government. You do not have a free society if you can't have an armed society. That's just definitionally true. So, but let me ask you a question as far as the laws, just so we can, think more clearly about this. You say you're against guns. Why does it make sense then that we guard our sports stadiums and our banks and our airports with guns? Are you against guns as a technology, or are you against the people that use guns for evil?
The people that use guns for evil.
Right. So maybe it's much more of a brokenness of humanity problem or a sin problem, not the actual tool itself.
My question was, what are the laws you
Yeah, so the laws, we already have federal laws on the books. We do have, federal background checks that are not always enforced. But honestly, I think we should have less gun laws, not more. I know people disagree with this, but I'd love to get your response because it's a right. People should be able to protect themselves as they see fit. In states that generally have more guns, not less guns, like Houston, yes, you do have some more gun deaths amongst inner city gangs, but violent crime tends to go down. And so I don't want to disarm peaceful, law-abiding people just because some people abuse that tool or that technology. And so when you look at gun deaths in this country, there are 30,000 gun deaths a year. 2/3 of them are death by suicide. Okay, so that number shouldn't even been in there. The vast majority of the gun deaths that are related, that are the ones in the remainder, are individuals in gangs and inner cities that use guns in kind of gang violence. So really quickly, what is your issue with guns in America?
I think it's pretty easy for anyone to get a gun, and that's kind of a problem.
Okay. We just disagree. I think that you should be able to own a firearm and protect yourself. The minute that the government over-involves itself in the selection process of who can own guns and who can own firearms, we start to run into major issues. We will cease to be a free people if we are not an armed citizenry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, I think the last guy that came, there's two sides to the story, you understand? Sometimes it is good to limit people that are able to, own this weapon. But looking at what Charlie is saying, I see sense in it. By limiting them, it's like you are taking away their right to defend themselves. And that is the truth, In Nigeria, I watch the news every day. I see police brutality, whereby police harass citizens because they are the one with the weapon. And because the citizens have no right to own a gun, or before you can get a gun in Nigeria, the process is too long. So police can just, break into your house simply because they want to arrest you. And that is not how you do it. You have to follow due process, especially you don't do that when you don't have a warrant, you understand? And I even saw someone being adopted from the banking sector, you understand, the banking environment, simply because they want to arrest the person. You don't adopt a person without a warrant or even without a case. You feel like someone brought a complaint to you and you have not investigated to know if this person is guilty or not. You just, walk up there, arrest the person without even a proper investigation. To me, I feel it's not right. And they do this a lot because the citizens have no gun with them to defend themselves. And that is where Charlie Kirk comes in, as for you don't take away the right of a citizen or take away their rights to own weapon to defend themselves. And I've seen it countless times in America and sometimes short videos online whereby a gang will just walk up to you and pull out their gun and start shooting towards your direction. If you have nothing to defend yourself, what are you going to do? So sometimes it has both positive and negative, aspects. But it is good that when you need it, you have it, than when you need it, it's nowhere to be found. So I would support or encourage Americans to keep on with how they allow their citizens to bear arms. You understand? The only thing is try and do background check. Try and at least if you want to get driver license after 2 years, you need to come to, and check if your eyesight is still okay. So I think that is what they need to do for people that owns gun. Give them a couple of months, a couple of years to come back and renew their license to make sure that they are still mentally okay to keep on holding that weapon. I think by doing that, they can put things on check. And lady that spoke about Mexico, what can they do to help Mexico? I feel every country needs to know how to look out for themselves. And it all starts by we electing the right leader. You understand? Sometimes we elect leaders or we support a political party simply because our parents are supporting that party. We don't support them because we believe in what they can do. You understand? Let's say for religion, for example, we are all born, majority, my family, we are all born Christians. So there are certain things I do based on the fact that I was born in a Christian home. And I'm asking myself, assuming I was born in a Muslim home, will I still be a Christian? Well, I've seen reasonable reason why I should remain a Christian. That is why I'm still a Christian. Like, no one is forcing me to go to church. I'm of age, so I can take the decision. And I still choose to remain a Christian simply because I've seen the light in Christianity. So, we all need to look out for who we are giving power to. You understand? If you are giving, or if you are if you are born into a political party, you understand? You need to look. Are my parents right, or they have interior benefits? You understand? Sometimes our parents are politicians, so they stick to their political party simply because of what they benefit from it. But we need to ask ourselves: is that the right path we want to take? Should we stick to this family politics, or we should stand for who we want? So, by voting the right person that will do the job, not just the person that has maybe large follower or large audience. We need to find the person that he does not only speak based on the fact that he or she want to speak. He or she speak because they believe in what they are saying and they are ready to act. They don't just speak; they want to act. They want to deliver, and whatever they say is for the betterment of the country. I think the person that I've seen is a bit that is Donald Trump. I've seen that passion in him whenever he speaks. I've seen even right now he's doing it. He has promised certain things in America and he's doing it. So for the Mexico border or Mexico, I think Mexicans need to vote in the right leader. You understand? Get someone that is ready to do the job, because I see Mexico as a country that is close to the United States. You guys are sharing border, so at least look at what United States are doing right and try and emulate it. If you feel like you want your country to be great, at least you have an example, a neighboring country that is doing well for themselves. So copy their lifestyle, copy what they do. Maybe not everything, but at least things that will improve your economy, things that will improve your country. You understand? And I feel it will work out. This is beautiful. I enjoy it, and I want to see more videos from Charlie. If you have any recommendation, let me know in the comment section. If it's the first time visiting the channel, click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and remain blessed.